but Tyler Perry. And before we get to Tyler Perry, I guess we got to talk about Megan Good. I guess we got to talk about the hug heard around the world. We got to talk about how Michael Ealy picked up Megan Good on a hug with her man around. Right? And people was like, damn, that couldn't be me. I would have had to set that shit off. I would have had to set that shit straight. I would have had to act in a certain manner. And I believe that's off impulse. That's off no control. I mean, because you got to think about what Jonathan Majors is facing. You got to think about how the media looks at him, the narrative behind him. He's violent, right? Because he got charged with a violent crime, although it was a crime where he basically was defending himself, and a person that got assaulted, they got a reckless assault, meaning they basically got hurt because he was trying to defend himself. And that's what they charged him with ultimately. And so a man that's with Megan Good, the goddess that Megan Good is, the loving woman that Megan Good is, the beautiful, the talented Megan Good that's been one of those ladies in our community that everyone has looked at for years as one of their crushes. From the cousin Skeeter to getting ice cream off Friday, right? Just to being who she is, those lips, and even those sharp eyebrows, and just that six pack, that small part of her back. She's fit, she's sexy, she's healthy, she's in her 40s, and she looks 20 something. Right? Megan Good. She stood by Jonathan Majors when he was going through everything. And why would he, destroy all of that because a man picked her up? So at the end of the day, you kind of got to think about what position he's in. Then you got to think about the position of Megan Good. This is Hollywood. She's worked with Michael Ealy on multiple movies. They have some familiarity with each other. Like, they was excited to see each other, and albeit I believe she did get caught up in the moment. I mean, the only thing she could do was just hold her way down and be like, no, nigga, don't pick me up. But, I mean, she'd allowed it to happen. But ultimately, I believe the blame is on Michael Ealy just not knowing his place, just not knowing that space. And probably he didn't give a fuck. They said on the other edit, he did greet Jonathan Majors. On the edit they showed, he greeted Megan Good and then everybody else, and they took a picture. And it's just like the media to, show clips of a certain narrative. Some people say it doesn't matter if he greeted him first. And I believe it does matter. I believe it does matter. Because if you greet me first and then y'all hug each other with that excitement, I know y'all haven't seen each other in a long time. I know that y'all good friends. And if I know that y'all good friends, she's told me y'all were good friends. You know what I'm saying? So I know what you mean to her. And I know what you mean to black culture. Michael Ealy, he's on Power. Ghost. Power Book 2. Michael Ealy's been in so many black movies. Like, we know what you mean to the culture and we appreciate you. And, at the end of the day, you got to play the politics. And some of these niggas ain't got control. Some of these niggas don't know how to control their temper. Some of these niggas don't know how to control their anger. But Michael Ealy, at the end of the day, he could be a plug in the industry, because just think about when him and Megan Good's relationship is over. You know what I'm saying? Because they probably not going to be married. They probably going to have some time together. But if this is a superficial relationship, they're not going to be together long. So ain't no point in him acting up. And then on top of that, think about his image. Because I'm Team Johnny Majors. I'm Team Johnny Majors. I'm going to be biased. I'm Team Johnny Majors. And I feel like he played it off right. Played it like he really didn't care. Played it, you know what I'm saying? He looked awkward, but I feel like he was comfortable in the mayhem. And I feel like everybody made it seem a certain way. Was it an appropriate way to hug a man's girl? I mean, no, but they've been together for a short amount of time. And as you're getting together with a person, it's certain things that they might not know you don't like. And they don't know you don't like these things until these things present themselves in real time. So that could be a conversation that they have in real time. So I mean, you want to make sure that you have these relationships, these connections in the industry, especially when you're at the bridge that you are almost burning down, but you're walking through the flames, you're walking through the fire unscathed. And I wouldn't say unscathed, you got a couple of burns, but you're trying to get across to the other side. And I believe that's Jonathan Majors. He's walking on a tightrope. He can't black out and say something and do something crazy, because then we gonna believe everything that that white girl said about him. And then on top of that, he gets to preserve those relationships. Michael Ealy, he gets to preserve those relationships. Megan Good, even things, if things don't end well between them, things will be okay if they don't burn the bridge. He can always tap back into her, because Megan Good came to him, at a time where he was at his lowest. So it doesn't matter if his stock was falling. It doesn't matter if he was on a down slide, but Megan Good was there to hold him up at his lowest moment. And man, we can't take that for granted. And at the end of the day, if you held me up at my lowest moment, who am I to bark at you? Who am I to get on your ass about hugging a man in public? You know what I'm saying? Because everything else you've done for me, at this point has been very crucial for the second part of my career going forward. And for me to show my ass and for me to act off impulse, off urge, is not intelligent. Jonathan Majors went to Yale. He's a smart man. He's an intelligent man. He know how to conduct himself. He know how to not act like a nigga, right? And all we hear on social media is niggas trying to tell a black man, intelligent man, a man that's smart, how to be a nigga, and that ain't gonna fly. That ain't gonna help him to get to where he want to be. You know what I'm saying? Because you can act like that for the moment, and then at the end of the day, it doesn't benefit you. All it does is hurt you, and you've already been hurt. You've already been on the downslide. So why put yourself in further, failure? Why put yourself in a further predicament because of that? Because we know how that's going to look on the outside looking in. So I believe Jonathan Majors handled it right. He handled it the only way he could handle it. You know what I'm saying? So